Larry, do you want to talk about that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, we've had motion, everybody's in favor, back into regular session. And the executive session was doing with pending possible litigation. Judge's report, I just think I have one thing, and that is the annual Humane Society is spaghetti dinner. It's October 14th at 2011, 5 to 8 at the First Christian Church, and they always get huge crowds. Have a lot of people there, and hopefully a lot of people can come out and enjoy some spaghetti and watch The Lady and the Tramp. And that's really all I had in the judge's report. I would ask for comments from department heads. Leroy, I know, has something.
I have one person recommend the court hire for a truck driver. He does have his CDL license. He'll be starting out at $10 an hour. And he'll be on probation for 6 months. Named Floyd Richardson.
On your recommendation, so moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leroy. Jim, do you have something?
Yeah, I just want to make a little short quarterly report. We had 105 fire calls in the last quarter. 2 of them were child lock into vehicles. Both of them were successful. Had 10 control burns, 10 structural fires, and 8 vehicle fires. I do got my co-ops employed now. I've got 15. They are really adding to our department, bringing a lot of good morale, real good work ethics. I'm proud to death of them guys. Kind of leading into that, just a friendly reminder. This is the fire season, fall fire season. I'm going to read word for word to KRS, the Kentucky Division of Forestry. Kentucky's fire seasons are October 1st to December 15th, and then again February 15th to April 30th. During the official fire season, it shall be unlawful for any person to set fire to or procure another to set fire to any flammable material capable of spreading fire, located in or within 150 feet of any woodland or brushland, except between the hours of 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. When the ground is covered with snow. That's the KRS 149.400. Some of the questions, people ask, why can't we burn until 6 o'clock? Several good reasons is no burning after between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. The reason why is, during the day you got higher daytime temperatures. Of course, that dries the fuels out. A lot easier to catch fire. Of course, during the day it's usually more, a little bit more windy, and the humidity drops also. And the reasons why we want to keep it past 6 p.m. is temperatures drop at night, and fuels won't dry out quite as fast. Wind speeds usually drop, and is less likely to ignite. And the humidity level rises at night, and fuels absorbs the moisture. But I just want to put a little friendly reminder out. If anybody is going to burn anything, please contact the non-emergency number with 911. Let them know it's 624-4776. Let them know you're going to burn, and that way we won't be coming out to your house, lights siren, and embarrassing you. So we appreciate it.
Chief, we're on the fire and smoke detectors. Are we still working hard on that?
Yeah, we put in. I guess we probably average 2 or 3 a week. We're getting a little low on them. They're trying to work on the grant right now to get some more in. But yeah, we're putting in 2 or 3 a week.
Okay.
That's a really good program.
It is.
We actually come out and we'll put them in for you, so we be sure that it is put in the right areas, and gives us peace of mind also.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Okay.
Any other department heads? Carl, do you have anything?
I don't have anything else unless someone got any questions on the last monthly report or anything.
Okay, I think they got that. Anybody else? No department heads? If not, comments from Masters. Greg, do you have anything?
Well, looks like we get about to finish up a lot of our roads being blacktop, and they're looking good in a lot of places that we've got to do that, and the roadside's mowed. And I want to commend Leroy for all the work they've done this summer. I know they've been busy, and just the things that they do to help our communities. There's a big area to cover, and I'm grateful for them, all the workers of the county that does a wonderful job reaching out and doing what they're supposed to do, and appreciate them. Other than that, that's all.
Thank you very much. Roger?
Just talking to Leroy before the meeting, and I see where they've been patching a little more on Jacks Creek. I don't think they're gonna get the blacktop out of the state.
We're trying. Leroy's talking to Charlie, and it really just depends on the weather, and they're running a little bit low on some of those funds, but we're still talking to them. Matter of fact, we've got some more roads that we like to do.
There's nothing here in the road department, a lot of purchases for equipment. It says truck parts, it says motor vehicle parts, and then we've got another dump bed. I think there's a snow plow in there. Are we calling and getting prices on this stuff? I mean, from different places before we
Yes.
get a figure? I'd like to see some of the prices that we're getting on it compared to what we're paying.
We get the cheapest on all, and it's that time of the year, as everybody
Oh,
knows.
I
It
know.
starts snowing anytime, and we've got some of the old trucks. Instead of buying new trucks, we're putting new beds on them and replacing the spreaders and snow plows when need be, so we'll have all of them ready to go.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to know that, that we're checking prices and trying to get one somewhere where we can save a little money. And I know you like to buy local a lot, but a lot of times you can save a lot of money by checking around.
Trust me, Leroy can show you.
I need to see some copies of where they've got prices.
Okay. Larry?
Judge, you mentioned the Humane Society and Lady in the Tramp. This is a really good organization, and this probably is their number one fundraiser and the way they get their money, other than, what we give them, other people give them. So I would encourage everybody to attend. They'll have something for everybody, I'm sure. But other than that, I'm kind of like you, Greg. Leroy, y'all do a good job, and I want to commend you for that, and I hope you stay with us as long as you will. Other than that, I'm just glad to be here, Judge.
Glad to have you.
There's one other thing, Kent.
Yeah, go ahead.
Waco Volunteer Fire Department's having a open house day this Saturday from 11 to 4, and they wanted us to invite everybody that will come out. They're going to have things for kids and food and different things, so if you got an opportunity to go out by there, I know Billy should be representing them, but he ain't here, so truly, if you want to go out there and just have a good time with a volunteer. And I do want to commend all these volunteer firefighters. I mean, we've got some of the best in the county that just sit and give their time and don't charge nothing, but to go out and support if a fire and get out there and fight. So if y'all can, even donate to these firefighters, and I mean, it's a good cause. And we got also another thing while I'm on that, I want to bring up the area. Thought in her this past week what happened. But anyway, that's to do with the fire department. So I want to commend all of them and appreciate them for their time and obligation they give to the county. And also on the rescue squad, that brought me to think about this as I got a call wanting to support, and which I talked with Ken about it. They're raising up money to buy a building, which we know that that ain't actually so,
I questioned that when they've called me, and I said, I thought the building was already being furnished, and they said, well, this is to help finish it out inside. So, I mean, I don't care to give to them, and I want them calling if it's legitimate,
If it's, yeah.
Well, I think to make everything clear, and we're going to talk about it probably the next meeting, but Carl was able to get some funds from the federal government for storage. Well, we've let rescue stay in the basement of the Emergency Operations Center. They've been there since 94, 95. What we were going to try to do was get enough money to build a new building on the lot out off Duncannon and let them move in that building, and then let Carl use the basement of the OC for storage. But it's kind of been skewed a little bit as to they're raising money to build a building when they're not raising money to build a building. They're raising money to put equipment in a building. So I think everybody needs to know that, the building if indeed we can do it, the prices are coming in pretty high, so we don't know if we can even do it or not. But all intent on fiscal court is to put them a new building and let rescue stay there. You know, rent-free, pay the utilities, and keep the update. But they are not building a new building. It'll be Madison Fiscal Court and CSEP and Carl.
Well,
So it's-
one other note, speaking of the rescue and volunteer firemen, running the wrecker years ago, I think anybody that runs a wrecker or works a wreck can tell you that the volunteers is probably there before anybody else in most cases. I went to a lot of wrecks with the wrecker that the volunteer fireman was there and the rescue squad was there, and I know sometimes they drive fast and try to run over you getting there, and we've all seen that. But and that's not, you know, that's not called for, but I think they do a good service to the county.
Yeah, and relating to that, I do think they all do a good service, but I just don't want no misconception out there that they're having to raise money because we've thrown them out or something
Right,
other, you
right.
know. So if they're going to raise it for the right plans. So
Okay, good point, Greg. Comments from the audience? I see Paul Romanger's here. Paul, did you have a few words you'd like to talk to us about?
Just let me call your all's attention to 2 or 3 items, and these are numbered. On page 1, you see the picture of the latest Walk of Fame plaque. This is for Baseball Hall of Famer Earl Combs. It's out front. We put it in and dedicated it a month ago. On page 2, the cost of these is running at $3,630 a year. That goes up each year. When we put out a new one, all of the ones that are out are cleaned. And on page 3, under the living history, you'll notice that the Battle of Richmond living history that we hold in May for schools, Sharon Graves directs this. We had 1,167 students attend that. That's over and above her 55 students from Clarkmore and 5 high school students who help her. Reenactment was considerably larger this year. Last year we had 208 reenactors. This year we had 243 reenactors. The number of visitors seems to have been about 5,000. Sheriff Combs, we were concerned about our part on the traffic, and I'm sure you were too. What we're going to make certain we do next year, instead of having those cars come in and spend a minute giving them literature, we're just going to get them parked and get them off of 421. That's too dangerous, so we'll move them in more quickly. The Saturday evening meal that you all provide for sutlers and reenactors is extremely popular, and we thank you. On page 4, you'll be interested to know that the dates for next year's reenactment are the 25th and 26th of August. The golf tournament will be the day before. This is the 150th anniversary of the battle. Bluegrass Army Depot has requested that a battle engagement of some type be held on original depot battlefield. This is apparently only the second time this has ever been done in the United States. The other one is at Fort Benning in Georgia. The Pentagon seems to be interested in this. It will have to be held Sunday morning at 9 a.m. We won't be moving cannon over there, but there will be muskets. Richmond Powwow was larger this year. We're concerned about the number attending. There were 1,149 students on school day, which is quite good. Our number of visitors on Saturday and Sunday we think is a little bit low. We had about 1,000, but we're going to work on a better weekend for that, probably the weekend before. On page 5, you'll be interested in the sizable library collection that we are being given. This first collection will be housed in the Berea room in the Berea facility,
But we understand from the librarians that the number of patrons in both facilities in Richmond and Berea is extremely high, and they are looking at ways to increase their size. We believe there will be 2 large Civil War collections of books come into Richmond in the future. We think this is a good tourist attraction, not for your normal tourist, but for people who are wanting to research original first editions. This is going to be an awfully good source for them. I think you'll be very much interested in the number of visitors we have had at Battlefield Park. Between the 1st of June and the end of September of this year, we had 1,219 visitors. In addition to the 260 cars coming from Kentucky, with about half of those from Madison County, there were visitors from 40 other states and from 6 foreign countries, and those are listed there. And then on page 6, there's a breakdown of the number of visitors from each state. And I thought you all would be interested in that. Thank you very much.
I noticed you have one from Alaska.
Yes.
One from Alaska, the visitor.
Earlier, not in this 4-month period, but earlier I had a visitor from Italy who did not speak English. And I didn't speak Italian, so someone asked what I did, and I said, I did what you always do. You talk a lot louder and
faster. Thank you, Paul.
Did you have a question?
Being new to coming to these meetings, when you were discussing the aircraft board that you were going to have members assigned to, is there normally where you can even ask questions as a general public to why we're even involved in that airport? I mean, it's just a small airport it's personally owned, isn't it?
It's owned by the 3 governments, and it was.
Is it the facility itself?
Yeah, and the land was purchased in 1969 and 1970.
Is it contracted out currently?
No, it's run by a board appointed, and that's kind of board is appointed by myself with 2 members and each mayor with 2 members, and it's a board that's set up by ordinance by 183, 132 KRS, and they're just like any kind of a taxing district, whatever. They can be sued, they can sue, but they run the airport. And I might say a lot of good things have happened at the airport. We've, in the last 4 years.
I see it's been enlarged over a period of time.
Done a lot, about $4.5 million worth of, I think we've got a new taxiway, extended the runway to 5,000 feet, just finished a new overlay, new lighting. So there are a lot of things going on out there, and we're up to the point where we can take the small corporate jets now.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going after, the board's really looking at a new terminal, and Eastern is the new FBO, the fixed-based operator, and they've hired a manager. So a lot of things are happening at the airport, and I think they're going to get better and better. But your initial question is, it is owned by the 3 governments.
So okay, well, at this point, then it's my question really almost becomes moot, because I was wondering why our involvement was so much, because I had flown into it a couple of years ago, and I thought it was just a private airport run by contractors. So our involvement will continue to grow monetarily whatever we decide to do with that airport.
Absolutely.
And so that'll have quite an impact on the area, just the amount of traffic, air traffic, and patterns going in there.
We have a request in for Congress right now to extend 8,000 feet, and that's mainly due to the depot.
Now, the normal pattern entrance into that airport, as we increase and have heavier aircraft come in there, are they going to be ending up having an influence on the residential areas noise-wise? Are we looking into that?
We don't think so. We've looked at that. The engineers have looked at it. Now with the new taxiway, we have the full taxiway along the runway. So we've just, that's one of those particular things that we really don't get a whole lot of complaints about.
Uh-huh. Well, it's mostly rural around it.
Yeah.
Our industrial factories and in plants, they utilize it heavily.
Uh-huh.
And it's an asset for them, and I'm sure that's probably brought some
Oh, I can see that.
work to Madison County. But we've come a long way in 2 years. You said you flew in 2 years ago. We've come a long way, I can assure you that.
So these people will all be on our payrolls. I mean, is that, this board, is it, or is it all volunteer, or?
Well, the board's volunteer, they don't get paid, but they oversee the expenses, the expenditures. You know, they balance the budget. But now that Eastern's the fixed-based operator out there, it's gonna be a lot better, because Eastern has the assets that can do a lot of improvements out there.
And their particular budgets, are they posted?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that,
You can go to any of their meetings.
oh, yeah, I'm cool. I'm just trying to get involved. I haven't retired now, so I have time. And when you were talking earlier and discussing the volunteers for the volunteer rescue squad, and the individual was given a title, I guess, or I couldn't understand exactly what that was.
Search and rescue.
That's a total volunteer group also?
There
It's-
are volunteer groups and there's paid groups. Richmond has a search and rescue team, it's paid part of the fire department. The
Right.
counties is a volunteer agency.
Was he in the county or the?
He's with the county. He's gonna be working with my organization because we have to be affiliated with search and rescue if they're a volunteer-based organization.
Well, that was part of my question, was whether they were actually part of the fire department, so their budgets and
They are
everything
not.
else?
Not the counties, there is, they do their budget independently, they're 501c3, I think it is, organization. Whereas Richmond's is part of their paid fire department. But he's not working with Richmond, he's working with the county departments.
Okay, so he's not, I was trying to, what I was looking at is whether during that discussion, all of a sudden, we had a new employee.
No, he doesn't get a check.
And when we were talking about the possibility of putting a new building up I thought this new fire department, why does it not have a conference room where people could utilize information? Could they not put a large shed behind it for equipment?
You're talking about two different entities.
Well, that's, I don't know.
I guess probably we could sit down and show you it, but where they're at now is in the back of my building, and they've outgrown that space, and I have outgrown my space, so the plan
Even
was-
with the new facility?
I don't have a new facility.
Oh, I look at this one across from the college, is that not the?
That is EMS,
Oh, is
not
that what?
EMA. Emergency
Well, that makes a
Medical
difference.
Services, that's a different agency, they're a different taxing body, we're not a taxing body. EMA is part of the county's organization, EMS is not. They
Now,
have their own board.
the fire department itself, does it have several locations as far as
For county fire,
for a city?
city's got 5 locations, but I don't,
No main location?
No, they have 5 districts, but that is different than the county's department. The county has 2 fire departments, 2 stations.
Okay. And they would they work with one particular station or
You
They
talking about
mu-
rescue now, or who?
rescue?
Rescue works anywhere in the county that's not a city incorporated limit. So you got the city of Berea, they have their city limits, they have their own rescue. Richmond has their city limits that is incorporated, they have their own rescue. This agency that we're talking about today covers everything else.
And the rescue is looking to have their own facility,
They need more space and I need more space.
but you're not looking to combine it in the same location?
We're in the same spot now, one of us has to have more space. Either I've got to get.
That was my question, and
they've gotta
whether-
get a bigger building.
Whether we were adding on to it and whether there was actually more employees now being involved in it. And I didn't know whether the budgets, normally when things like this come up, and obviously you guys are making decisions on, well, we're gonna go ahead with this or go ahead with that. Does the public actually realize then that these items now are part of a costly agenda or anything like this?
Well, just like this building that we're gonna build, we're not gonna build it with all our money. If we can't get some funding for the purpose of putting them in there, then we'd probably have to hold off on the building. But as of right now, we're trying to get funding to help build that building on the property that we purchased.
I just wonder in the long run whether search and rescue should be strictly part of a fire department. Mainly because my brother works at St. Pete Clearwater, and he's a captain down there, and he's head of part of their search and rescue, and it all works right out of their fire department. So you tend to have all the training and such like that all comes from the same type of individuals. You don't have separate staffs, and that's my thought on it. So, and when you people go, when I say you people, and you're having motions on different things, and you vote on them and such like that. Each time, does the general public have a chance to ask a question about that, or? I know you guys are wanting to move along, you're not wanting to spend.
We post our agenda. We post it.
Pre-post
Yes.
what's gonna be asked. And as general public, do I have to put a prerequisite in that I wanna ask questions, or?
Mark, I'm assuming that if we was voting on something that somebody in the audience could,
Just raise their hand? Or-
I don't think there's a problem. I mean, if you
I didn't know if that was the
you want to
procedure.
come forward and say, I oppose what you just voted on, I guess that'd be fine, you know, but that's what you're doing now at the end of the, you know.
Yeah, I know, I missed, I know that I'm.
End of the meeting,
back,
we give the opportunity to the audience to speak.
But by then, you're really out of the whole loop and what you remember.
You have the right for comment anytime we're voting on something. If
That's
you want
my
to check or whatever, you have the right.
Okay.
You do.
And that's why the agenda's posted too.
So it
You
gives
could-
you,
Call this body before the meeting and express your opinion individually to them.
okay. Well, I appreciate your patience on a newbie, so to speak.
No problem.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything? Go ahead.
I'll try not to prolong the agony here. I just promised a few people I would remind the fiscal court of, and here's my motivational piece of paper. I got my tax bill in, and my
All
taxes.
about them, didn't
Right,
we?
yeah. And, you know, and I'm part of a group in the community, and you're going to be hearing about us. So we're going to take a look at all of the taxing districts and just, you know, try to just, as the gentleman was talking about, find out where, you know, who's actually on these committees, do we have a voice, and things of that nature. I just did a little quick research this morning, and I know we've been here a long time. I'm operating on an hour's sleep. I worked second shift, but our national debt is $14.8 trillion, and our Kentucky debt is $41 billion right now. And how that concerns us is I was looking through our budget, and we got $1.8 million in grants that we got either from the federal government or from the state government. So that's still tax dollar. You know, that comes. Government only has the money that it gets from us. So I just want the fiscal court to be mindful of that when you go to get a grant. Just took a quick look at some of the grants, and some of it is, you know, security, police related, and those are the kind of things we probably need. You know. That's a legitimate function of government. And then you've got some other things in there I won't mention, but, you know, it's pretty self-evident that in a time of crisis where we got people on the streets, you know, this group and that group marching, concerned about the condition of our country, I think we need to be more fiscally minded because it's only going to compound. And you know, and I say this for the benefit of you all because you all are going to have to get reelected somehow, you know. And if things are getting worse, you know, where the finger's going to be pointed. So, you know, I looked through, like I said, I found 14 grants, $1.8 million. And just, you know, just want to remind you all that is taxpayers' money. And, you know, just be mindful of that and try to do only those things that we had to have. Now, I have as much respect for history as anybody in here. I live in a historic neighborhood, and I know we got to take care of our, you know, concerns, but let's not let those concerns deter us from taking care of the present right now, you know, because this is where we're living, and this is, you know, we're getting these bills in the mail, and they got to be paid. So I thank everybody for your time.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else have any comments they'd like to approach the court? If not, a motion being,
You almost waited too late.
I'm Earl Alexander. I'm a resident of Arbuckle Road on behalf of some of these people that are here that live on Arbuckle. And we'd just like to know if you can tell us anything on the status of Arbuckle Road.
well, Earl, we had a long discussion about Arbuckle here about 3 or 4 months ago, and it was explained that there is no emergency money right now. You know, probably we had some emergencies. We had 4 bridges that we had to replace this year, but we'll start looking just immediately. We'll have to wait, see the governor's race and get transportation fixtured in, and then we'll start looking like right after the first of the year of emergency money that might be available to come down and do something to it. But it's on the list, but Leroy and I talk about it all the time. But it's just, you know, the money isn't there right now to do it. We had some other priorities, but we haven't forgot about it.
I know for a fact, Judge, that you've been working on it because I've had some calls on it, and
Yeah.
you'll find that money somewhere. I'm confident.
But we appreciate you coming in, Earl. Anybody else?
Thank you all.
Okay. If not, a motion to pay the claims, approve the transfers.
So move.
Magistrate King,
Yes.
Mr. Carter,
Yes.
Magistrate Combs,
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes.
We adjourn.
Motion adjourned. Thank everybody for coming in. We appreciate it.